There's a gritty black paste sitting on the shelf at every auto parts store. It costs about $4, and it grips a stripped screw head better than any specialty tool you can buy. Mechanics have used it for decades. Machinists know it by name. And somehow, in the entire universe of DIY videos telling you to hammer in a Torx bit or superglue a screwdriver, almost nobody mentions the one thing professionals actually reach for when a fastener goes bad. It's not a secret. It's not rare. It's sitting 40 feet from the register, and most people walk past it their entire lives without knowing what it does. By the end of this, you'll understand why it works, when to use it, and why it's only one rung on a whole ladder of real fixes that the internet keeps flattening into clickbait. Before any trick works, you have to understand why the screw stripped in the first place, because that's the part every shortcut video skips straight past. And if you don't fix the cause, you'll just strip the next one too. Screws don't round out because they're weak. They round out because of a mismatch. Wrong driver size, wrong driver type, too much downward pressure missing, not enough torque alignment. A Phillips head, the little cross-shaped one you've seen 1,000 times, was actually designed to slip. That's not a flaw. That's the original patent from the 1930s. Henry Phillips wanted the driver to cam out under high. Torque-so assembly line workers wouldn't over-tighten and snap the fastener. Great for factories in 1936. Terrible for you, 60 years later, trying to remove a painted-over screw from a door hinge with a driver tip that's seen better days. Then there's the driver itself, the cheap screwdriver that came in a plastic blister pack at the checkout lane. The tip is soft metal, often slightly undersized, and after 2 stubborn jobs, it's already rounded. You're not driving the screw anymore, you're polishing it. Every turn makes the problem worse. Add in corrosion, thread lock compound, 30 years of paint layers, or a screw that someone before you already mangled. And by the time you pick up the driver, the screw is halfway dead before you've even touched it. So the first real lesson, before any paste, any trick, any trade secret, is this. A huge percentage of stripped screws were avoidable. The right bit, the right size, firm downward pressure, and a sharp impact to seat the driver will prevent the damage in the first place. Knowing this changes how you approach every fastener from here forward. Walk into any machine shop that's been running since the 70s, mention a stripped Phillips head, and watch the oldest guy at the bench start smiling before you finish the sentence. Because in the trades, stripped fasteners aren't a crisis, they're Tuesday. Machinists, millwrights, marine mechanics, old school aircraft techs, these people deal with seized, corroded, rounded out, snapped off hardware as a baseline part of the job. And over generations, they've built up a quiet library of tricks that never quite crossed over into consumer DIY culture. Not because the tricks were hidden, because the tradespeople didn't make YouTube videos. There's a knowledge gap, and it's not the result of suppression. It's the result of transmission. Trade knowledge moves apprentice to journeyman, hands to hands, across benches and job sites. A kid working alongside a 60-year-old diesel mechanic picks up 3 decades of accumulated fixes in his first year, but that knowledge rarely makes it into a glossy tutorial. Meanwhile, DIY content got built on a different model. Fast, visual, product-sponsored, algorithm-friendly. The tricks that photograph well and drive affiliate links win. The tricks that are boring to film but actually work in real shops sit invisible. That's the whole story of valve grinding compound. It's been sitting on auto parts shelves since the 1920s. Every mechanic over 40 has used it. It solves stripped fasteners beautifully. It's never going to trend on social media because it's a small gray tin with ugly packaging, and it doesn't make for a satisfying before and after shot until you're actually using it. So the internet forgot it existed, and that's why the same 5 shortcuts get recycled across thousands of videos. A rubber band, super glue, hammer the next size up. While the single most effective consumable for this exact problem quietly sits $4 away from you at any time. There isn't one magic fix. There's a ladder, and you climb it from gentlest to most destructive, stopping the second something works. This is how actual tradespeople think about it. And once you see the ladder, you'll never again reach for the drill as a first resort the way tutorials tell you to. Rung 1 is the rubber band. A wide, flat rubber band pressed between the driver tip and the stripped head fills the gaps in the rounded out recess and gives the driver something to bite into. Costs nothing. Works surprisingly often on shallow damage. If the screw is barely rounded, this alone can back it out. Rung 2 is switching drivers. A lot of people don't realize that a Japanese industrial standard driver, called a JIS, fits Phillips head screws from Japanese-made products far better than a standard Phillips driver does. If you're working on a motorcycle, a camera, a small appliance, half your stripped screws aren't actually stripped. They were the wrong type of head to begin with. Rung 3 is a sharp downward strike. Place the driver square in the recess, press hard, and give the top of the handle one firm tap with a mallet. That impact seats the driver deeper into whatever metal is left and can break the friction holding the screw in place. Hand impact drivers, which are short, stubby tools you strike with a hammer, take this idea even further and are astonishingly effective on anything automotive. Rung 4 is where valve grinding compound enters, and we're about to spend real time there. Rung 5 is cutting a new slot across the head with a rotary tool and using a flathead driver in the fresh groove. Rung 6 is a screw extractor, a reverse threaded bit that bites in as you turn counterclockwise. Rung 7 is drilling the head off entirely to release whatever the screw was holding, then dealing with the remaining shank separately. Rung 8, the last resort, is welding a nut onto the stripped head, a trick that sounds extreme but works on everything stuck and stripped because the heat also breaks thread lock and rust bonds. You don't leap to Rung 8, you climb. Most screws surrender by Rung 3 or 4. And that Rung 4 is the one almost nobody talks about. The paste is called valve grinding compound. And the wild part is, it was never designed for stripped screws at all. It was formulated decades ago for rebuilding engine valves. When a mechanic reseats a valve against its seat inside a cylinder head, the two metal surfaces need to mate perfectly. And the compound, a thick grease loaded with silicon carbide or aluminum oxide grit, is smeared between them and rotated until the grit wears both surfaces into a flawless seal. It's abrasive paste, industrial grade sandpaper in gel form. You can buy it at any auto parts store, often in a two-sided tin with fine grit on one end and coarse on the other, for somewhere between $3 and $5. Permatex makes it, Clover makes it, generic store brands make it. It's been a quiet staple forever. Here's why it transforms a stripped screw situation. When a Phillips or Torx head rounds out, the problem is that the driver tip spins freely inside a smoothed out recess. There's not enough friction for the driver to grab. Everything else, rubber bands, epoxy tricks, oversized bits, is an attempt to create friction between two metal surfaces that have been polished smooth. Valve grinding compound solves the problem at the source. You scoop a small amount onto the tip of your driver, press it into the stripped recess, and the grit wedges itself into every microscopic gap between the driver and the damaged walls of the screw head. Suddenly, the driver isn't slipping against polished metal. It's locked into the screw through thousands of tiny abrasive particles acting like teeth. Mechanics call it giving the driver some bite. The first time you feel it engage, it's genuinely startling. Screws that were laughing at you 30 seconds ago just start turning. The technique is simple. Clean the stripped head out with a toothbrush or compressed air so you're not pressing paste into dirt. Put a pea-sized blob of compound on the driver tip. The coarse grit is what you want for this, not the fine. Press the driver firmly into the recess and give it a quarter turn back and forth to seat the grit. Then apply steady, heavy downward pressure and turn slowly, not fast. Slow turning gives the grit time to grip. If it slips once, reseat. Add a touch more compound, press harder. On badly damaged heads, pairing the paste with a hand impact driver, that mallet-struck tool from Rung 3, is the combination that pulls out screws nothing else will touch. Cleanup is a wipe with a shop rag. That's the entire process. A few honest caveats. It's messy. The compound gets on everything around the work area, so it's better for outdoor projects, garages, and utility repairs than for delicate electronics or visible interior wood. It works best on metal, a steel driver and a steel screw, because the grit needs hard surfaces to bite between. On very small screws, like the ones in eyeglasses or laptops, other methods are better because the compound is too coarse. Standard precautions apply. Wear gloves if you're sensitive, wash your hands after, keep it off painted surfaces you care about. But within its proper use case, stuck bolts, cabinet hardware, door hinges, automotive fasteners, deck screws, appliance repairs, it is genuinely one of the single most effective consumables you can own. And it's been sitting on the shelf the whole time. Sometimes you climb the whole ladder and the screw still laughs at you. And knowing when you've hit that point is its own kind of skill. If a screw has broken off flush, if the head is completely gone, if the fastener is threaded into something expensive enough that drilling it out carries real risk, that's the moment to stop and call someone whose entire job is this. A good locksmith, a machinist, or an automotive specialist has tools like left-handed drill bits, spark erosion machines, and decades of feel that turn a ruined screw into a minor inconvenience. Knowing the limit of DIY isn't defeat. It's the same skill tradespeople spent years developing, recognizing when the job needs better tools than you're standing in front of. But for the stripped screws you'll face on an ordinary weekend, in ordinary homes and driveways and workshops, what you now have is the real ladder. Not one viral trick, a whole sequence used in the actual order. Professionals use it, anchored by a $4 tin of abrasive paste that's been quietly doing this job longer than most of us have been alive. You'll catch yourself reaching for it on problems you didn't even know it could solve. Stuck screws on old hinges, rounded bolts on lawnmowers, the corroded Phillips heads on a bathroom fixture that's been there since the Carter administration. Valve grinding compound handles all of it, and once you've used it a few times, the $4 tin earns a permanent spot on your workbench. If this kind of real trade knowledge, The stuff that lives in workshops and not in algorithms is the sort of thing you want more of. Stick around. There's a lot of it. It's all sitting in plain sight, and most of it never made the jump from the bench to the internet. Subscribe if you want the next one when it drops. And if you've used valve grinding compound for something clever, drop it in the comments. The best tricks in the trades always come from the people who've actually had to solve the problem, and I genuinely like to hear yours.